Hello everyone, I'm Sir Havoc and welcome to WoT-University, the Art of series. This episode is all about the art of using auto-aim. Auto-aim is a function of the game which allows you to lock your gun and reticle on the enemy's tanks. But wait, it's not that simple. Like anything else in the game, it has its pros and cons. And if you use it right, it can yield you really good results, but if you get it wrong, it can cost you dearly. In this episode we're going to look at setting up auto-aim, choosing a particular key of your choice, how to initiate it and how to deactivate it. Then we're going to go into the training room and look at the pros and the cons of using it and why you would use it in certain situations and why you wouldn't. After that we're going to go through some gameplay footage just to give you an example of how it can be used to great effect whilst you're in battle. Not everyone likes to use auto-aim and often gets bad press from some of the good players. But the truth is, like some of you out there, especially the old fuddy-duddies, we haven't got the micromanagement, a lot of us, as some of these youngsters that are able to do 5 things at once. I don't know, you might be a bit like me. If I'm trying to circumstrafe a tank, sometimes I find it hard to concentrate on driving and shooting at the same time, and that's where it really benefits me. But by the end of this video, you'll be able to identify whether you think you can use auto-aim to improve your game, make yourself a better player, or if it's something that you just want to know about but say thanks but no thanks. But before you make up your mind, let's go to the training room, look at the game mechanics and go from there. Okay, so the first thing you need to learn about auto-aim is how to enable it, and it is simple. You just hold your reticle over the enemy tank and right click and the voice from your crew will say ready to fire. You disable it by holding your reticle over the ground and right clicking again and it will say disabled target or something along them lines. What I want you to note from this film is notice how no matter where you click on the tank when you enable it, the reticle always goes to the centre of the tank, and hereby you are presented with the first problem of auto-aim. If your enemy is hull down and you click on his turret to use auto-aim, then you fire, the reticle will go to the centre of his tank, and if the centre of the tank is behind a cover, it's just going to shoot the cover and you will not hit the tank. If the tank that you're shooting at is heavily armoured, it might be the case that all your shots get deflected as you have no control whether to shoot the turret or low down on a tank or front plate. You just simply aim for the middle of the tank, and if that's where the armour is thickest, you're going to get your shots deflected. I would like you to watch here how as I turn, sometimes the reticle goes off the target tank. The turret will naturally try to get itself back on, but you can do that faster by turning your tank in towards the target tank. And I often use this with tanks with slow turret traverse speed. So as the reticle sweeps off, you steer back in again, take your shot, and then you can steer off again. So if you need to dodge something, you know, you can steer into the enemy tank, steer out, dodge, and then steer back into it. It is an art, and it is called the art of, so practice makes perfect. This next clip is a great example of that. T-49 with a slow turret and track traverse against a Leopard. Admittedly the Leopard isn't firing and could quite possibly kill the T-49, but look how I missed the first 2 shots. I'm just circling and firing, they miss. But now I turn and shoot. So you take your finger off the accelerator, you turn, shoot and put your finger back on. So that's again, your finger off the accelerator, turn in, take your shot, then put your finger back on. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, yeah, the Leopard could easily kill you there, and it could do, but if you're against another similar tank and they're not using auto-aim and they're not good at that, then actually that technique's going to save your life. In this clip, we're looking at a T-29, a Tier 7 heavy tank. Now, you can see I penetrate some shots, and I miss and deflect others. That is due to the armour being too thick for the penetration of the gun. You just have to keep circling the tank and finding them weak spots. The more you do it, the better you get. Before we go into the gameplay footage, I just want to show you how to adjust your auto-aim to a different button if you don't want it on the right mouse button. But with the auto-aim, like everything else, you're just going to keep going and keep practicing, and eventually you'll get there. Now, here you go. It's quite simple to adjust the button that you use for auto-aim. I actually think the right mouse button is perfect for all that because it's really easy and it's always there. But you go into menu, you go along to controls, you scroll down and it's just there. Auto-aim, you click on that replace it with a button of your choice. As you can see, I use a different button there, but then I restore the defaults because I don't want to change it. All you do after changing it there is click apply and OK, and that's it, you're done. Hi guys, so that's the training room done. Now let's move on to the gameplay footage. Please remember to subscribe and like if you enjoyed this movie, and stay tuned until the end because I often save the best for last. In the Type 64 here, playing a game with Raider Pants. I've got a KV-1S and a Comet in front of me. Now I'm not using auto aim here because their tanks are partially hull down, so the middle of their tanks are being covered. And for me, the golden rule of using auto aim is never snipe with it, never use it for sniping. And you know, shots like this, if you're moving around, if you're nipping in and out, if you've got a clear shot, great, but I haven't got a clear shot there, so it's not an option to use auto aim. I'm waiting for Raider Pants to go around the back to see where they are, and then I'm going to come from this side. Now as I come round, you see Raider gets killed. Now I've got to be careful here. Watch how I switch from one target to the next.
Enemy armor is damaged. Permission to engage.
So as I move forward, the Comet moves off, but then the KV-1S comes out.
Ready to fire.
So move it to him,
Critical hit.
take a shot,
Fire. Enemy armor is
back to the
destroyed.
Comet,
Permission to
back to
engage.
him, using the wreck for a bit of cover.
They're knocked out.
Now watch how I move on to the next shot. So them two are down and there's a Panther down the valley. This is sniping, so auto aim is not used.
That one didn't go through.
It's far better to have control over your gun and shoot exactly where you want it at long range.
Critical hit.
I use auto aim to great
Enemy
effect
armor
on
is
this next
destroyed.
clip. As you can see, we're on Tundra. The team's losing badly. This flank's fallen, and I've come over from the other side of the map to flank round and see if I could take a bit of ground back. I've managed to get into a position behind them, and I want to come up the hill because I know there's an enemy T-20 up here. Now as I come up the hill, I see him and manage to get a shot on him,
Enemy armor is
and he
hit.
pulls back. At this point I didn't believe I need to use auto aim. I thought this was going to be a simple matter of a bit of peekaboo here. If you haven't seen my video on peekaboo, please go and see it. Now as he's gone round there, as I see he's hiding, it's obvious he's got a bit of savvy. Now I'm thinking I'm going to detrack him as he comes round and then kill him before he can get his gun on me. If you don't know how to do that, please see my video on detracking. Now he's not doing that either, which leads me to believe he's waiting for backup. He's hiding, he's staying out of my gun. Now he can give me a right whack, so I'm not too keen on getting in his way just yet, but now the enemy T-21 appears and I know I've got to do something here. I decide to pull back and draw them onto me and see if I can track them as they come over.
We've lost a track.
As I do that, I take fire from a Panzer IV-H with a beefy derp gun from behind. Now I know I'm going to be cornered, so it's time to move in. I decide to start with the T-21, and now the T-20 is coming round to support. This is where auto aim comes in.
Penetration.
I can click on him, move in and out. The moment I see it on him, I fire. You do miss every now and then, but you can see how it's used a good effect here. I just changed the target. The T-21 still thinks I'm on him, but now I've just whacked the T-20. I get him a second time.
Target acquired.
I'm using the wreck for cover with the T-21.
Knocked out.
I switch the gun round to the T-21, kill him,
Ready to
and now
fire.
bring it back to the T-20.
Penetration.
And he's gone before he
Enemy
knows what's
armor
going
is
on.
destroyed.
A little too late is the Panzer
Target acquired.
IV-H. Now he's got that derp gun that can
Enemy is
deal me a
hit.
hell of a lot of damage. I managed to get a shot in him there.
Penetration.
Another one. Now he's fired,
Enemy
and I
armor
know
is
I've got a
hit.
bit of time here.
Penetration.
There we
Gun.
go. 3 versus 1. 1 survives. Good use of auto aim. You can see how I take on a more heavily armoured target in this next clip. As you can see, this game is not going terribly. We're winning the game, but the T-71 on my side is fighting the Centurion. He's a one shot, and I knew that if I didn't get in there, he's going to die. I use 8 auto aim because I know the Centurion has weak sides and back.
Penetration.
Get a couple of shots on, but just
Enemy armor is
get my circling a bit wrong and take a second shot when I underestimated how much that wall would slow me down. But now I'm in and under his gun, and I know that his focus is now on the T-71. He's going to want to get the kill. The fact that I'm using auto aim to keep him close to him enables me to concentrate more on my driving and make less errors. Doing a bit of passive scouting in this next clip. This tank's coming in on me, he doesn't know I'm there, and as he reaches 50 metres where he would spot me proximity, I decide it's time to move. I engage auto aim and use the hill to circle around him quickly. By the time I get halfway around him, he realises then it's too late, and I'm able to kill him and move on. I use auto aim in this clip with the VK2801 to take on a Jab Panther. This round's a bit dodgy and you go up and down undulations which can make you miss. Auto aim does help keep that gun on as you're circling the target, and as you can see I use it to good effect here. Being able to just concentrate on my target is a great help. Similarly in this clip, VK2801 and a Hellcat. You might think I didn't need to use auto aim there, but as I went up and down that hill again it can affect the gun and make you miss. In this next clip we're on the eastern flank and these tanks are holding us up. I've got 3 shots left in the mag and I decide with them 3 shots I can take these tanks out. Move forwards, engage each tank, job done. That concludes this episode of What University, the Art of Auto Aim. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Why not check out some of my other videos by checking in the description below or go into the videos section of my YouTube page.